Hello, hello. I hope you can hear me. Yesterday I had problems with my speaker. I hope today it isn't there. Okay, so what are the benefits of napping? And are there any negative effects to napping? Yeah, there can actually be negative effects. It doesn't seem possible since napping has always been considered such a good thing. So let's start out by taking a dive into the benefits of napping. And not surprisingly, it can reduce fatigue. Well, that's a duh. It's also good for relaxation and improved alertness. Two more does. But there are other things that napping can do that don't necessarily spring to mind when we think of the benefits. So, the first one I want to talk about is that napping can actually help you boost your memory. That sounds good to me. Anything that'll boost the old brain is a good thing. Short naps are good for increasing your energy levels, but longer naps actually boost an area of your brain that is responsible for learning and memory. It's called the hippocampus, in case you're interested. But by longer, I'm talking about anything between 30 and 90 minutes. And there's a specific reason why I'm talking about that particular length of time. And I'll get into that in a moment. So, if you've got teenage kids or grandkids that are cramming for an exam, go tell them to take a nap. They'll love you for it. And hey, teenagers are rock stars when it comes to sleeping, aren't they? I mean, some of us have a little bit more of a problem with it, not the teenagers. Of course, the ideal length of time for a nap can be different for all of us. So you have to kind of play around with it. But there are studies that show that between 30 and 90 minutes is actually the ideal amount of time. So if you want to boost your memory, play around with that in that range, but not necessarily less and not necessarily more. When we get into REM sleep, which we can in that period of time, our brains are busy. Okay. They're busy strengthening connections, newly formed connections that we've just made. And they're busy pruning the old ones that aren't important anymore. Oh my God, do I wish I had that in my garden? But in non REM sleep, which is where we spend most of our times, we get these short electrical bursts of energy that are called spindles, and they help consolidate our memories. So we have the longer sleep, which reinforce the newly formed memories, and the non-REM sleep, which helps to consolidate the memories that we already have. So napping is actually good for boosting our ability to remember things. So then the question is there a best time to take a nap? And the answer is yes. And now is the best time to take a sip. The answer is yes. According to the director of the Johns Hopkins Sleep Disorder Clinic, between 1 and 4 is the best time. But this is when you want to make it a cat nap, between 20 and 40 minutes, no longer than that. Because if you do, you're going to have problems getting to sleep at night. So, aside with interfering with our ability to get to sleep at night, longer naps can also make you groggy. And I have experienced that one. I was only planning on taking a short 20-minute nap, and an hour later, I wake up and I can barely get out of bed, and it's like, whoa. So, if you need to function after you take a nap, like you've got some meeting that you're supposed to be in and you're supposed to look alert, or you need to get into your car to pick up your kids or your grandchildren or something, keep it short. Put your alarm on, make it a short nap. Now, let's get into more negative effects, or let's get into some of the negative effects of napping. And this was a surprise to me. This blew me away. And I've got these notes here, and I'm going to be reading them because I didn't memorize this. But according to the European Society of Cardiology, naps that are longer than 60 minutes were shown to increase your risk of cardiovascular disease by 34%. Also, that's pretty shocking. I mean, really shocking to me. Also, studies have shown that if you nap longer than 60 minutes, your risk of type 2 diabetes increases by a whopping 50%. People, people, no. I mean, that's wild. There are things that happen in your blood that shift if you take longer naps. I never knew this until I started writing this out and organizing my thoughts on napping. And I came across this and it kind of blew my mind. Obviously, the last one is if you have insomnia, taking naps during the day is not a good idea. You're just going to make it harder to fall asleep at night and get that deep sleep that you really need. So it's better to force yourself to stay awake during the day, no matter how much you're dragging your buns around. Just stay awake, and keep keep it to a short nap. For all other reasons, I would say keep cat naps in there unless you feel like your memory is declining, and then no more than 60 minutes. So that's what I have for you today on napping. And I choose napping because a lot of people that come to me or came to me when I had my acupuncture clinic and come to me now that I'm online and teaching, come to me because they have insomnia, problems falling asleep, problems staying asleep. It happens to a lot of us. People that have to get up in the night can't get back to sleep. So obviously, napping seems like a good idea, but not necessarily. We have to weigh the different aspects of it and make sure you're napping in a way that will benefit you, but not increase your risk of disease and potentially death. There was also something about death in there. I didn't include that. Anyway, if you are watching this on Facebook, please leave a comment down below. It would really, really help me if you did. Just leave a comment, not just like, but comment. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you can also leave a comment. And if you don't know about my YouTube channel, if you're on Facebook, I'll put a link down below. Okay, I'm here every Monday at 11 a.m. And I think next Monday it's going to be really brief because my sister is coming to town for a visit, and I am excited. I will see you next week briefly. Until then, sleep soundly at night. Don't nap more than 20 to 40 minutes during the day. Bye-bye. It says